Hello, everyone. We are back. Sorry about the last video if anybody got triggered or emotional. But yeah, this is also a little bit of an emotional video as well. Yeah, so the next thing that I dealt with when I was growing up was bullying. Or, I don't know, torture. I really don't know what it should be called because a lot of kids didn't like me. I at least knew that. A lot of kids didn't like me. So, for a while, I had somewhat of a hatred for humanity. But it mainly started with the people in my life. Like, the people that my mom dated. Seeing that really brought me down. Due to the fact that they did things to her that she didn't want. She was already dealing with depression and suicidal issues. So, yeah. But since we were both dealing with the same thing, we toughened through it. We had a lot of good conversations, and we held each other from death. We made sure that we both didn't die from ourselves. Whenever I was with her in the house, we talked a lot. But whenever I was not, I was just away because I didn't want to see her with those men. Because I couldn't do anything. So, yeah. And also, since I didn't have a dad in my life at all, or a father figure for a while, I just lived with my sister and my brother. But also, I had a lot of women in my life that were my relatives. There's probably more women in my life than men. I don't know why. Like I'm not trying to be offensive, but I just kind of, it's cool, but it's also weird. There aren't as many boys in my family. Whatevs. But yeah. So when I was dealing with all that bullying, I also dealt with the other thing that I talked about in my last video. That was very emotional. But yeah, a lot of kids didn't want me around them. I don't know why they hated me, but I was already dealing with the bullshit of, sorry I just cussed, but dealing with the bullshit of just being mistreated. And don't even get me started with the way that I felt towards people in general. But yeah, it was a nightmare. And the other type of bullying that I went through, I don't even want to talk about. Because it was very hurtful, but it involved a lot of relationships that people didn't make commitments to or just lied about actually liking me. So yeah, I'm not even gonna get into that. I've only dated 2 guys in my lifetime. The second one was even worse than the last. But yeah, so after I got out of my second relationship with a guy, I just basically lost all faith in both genders. At least trying to date them. It, I really don't want to do that anymore. So, it's been 2 years since I've dated anyone. And it's pretty much of a relief knowing that I don't have to go through that kind of trauma with a guy again. My body already has too much trauma built up inside of it, considering that I constantly, whenever I was in my other schools, I went through constant flashbacks of my past lives and all the things that I remember from what happened to me and what happened to the people around me. And then I kept on remembering everything that felt like torture for a very long time. Very long time. I would just say that. Um, yeah. So every single chance I got when I was alone, without having to be bothered by the boy that I was dating for 12 years, I thought about suicide and almost committing it at least 17 or 20 different times. Like, literally each day I actually had a moment of privacy. I did a lot of things like cutting, trying to find different types of ways to end my life. At one time, I actually found a rope and I tied it to something that was high enough and also sturdy enough to keep me. Okay, well, even though that when I was around the age of 12, I was still very light. Like anyone could pick me up, no matter what body size they were. So it wasn't. It was pretty easy for me to be able to have my weight distributed on any type of surface. And considering that I am also deadborn, I have the ability to loosen up my weight at any time or shrink myself in different ways. Like, if I chose to, I could actually, in certain cases, I could look taller, shorter, or I could shrink. I can shrink almost any part of my body or make it bigger. So yeah, except for my head. Like my head, I cannot make any bigger. This is as big as it can get at this point. And also, I've learned over time of developing and making my new abilities. I've learned how to make my face look different in certain ways. It's not very noticeable, but after a while being around me and noticing new things about me, you might eventually start noticing that my face looks very different. So yeah, but making my face look different, it takes a while for it to actually fully complete itself. So I barely use it, but I still practice it without actually having to turn the ability on. But yeah, so for a while I went through bullying. Felt like torture though, and the flashbacks of my past life and all the horrible things that happened in that. And then through the abuse I had with the boy. And then being called different names for the way I look, because of my lips looking like they're gonna peel off, like pull off my entire face. So yeah. Um. So I think that's gonna do it for this video. So this has been the light, talking to all of you. Stay alive, and always remember to care and love the people that are in your life, no matter what. Goodbye.